This is the Orland Park Haunted Woods. And I would have to say it wasn't worth the wait.
I had a big problem with the trail, the haunted trail in Orland. I think it was $10, $8 if you had a can, which is fine, $15 if you want to go a fast pass. The line was too long for what it was. The problem I have with the trail itself was the kids in it were too young, they weren't scary, they weren't enthused, they were out of character, most of them. And it got a little better because in the middle of the trail, when you get towards the end, there's like a house kind of thing you go through. And there's a doorman there and a bellboy and a couple other people in there who, most of them were in good character. Those bellboy and the doorman were good character. Like the lady bartending, actually, believe it or not, she got me in the groin with air and that almost hurt. So it was scary, but not like I was afraid. I was like, this is gonna hurt and it's getting me in the groin kind of afraid. It's like getting punched in the groin with a mouthful of smoke, I guess. So anyway, we we were a little better off with some of the characters in there, but even one of the characters broke character because they were trying to take a picture or something and were laughing instead of trying to scare us. But overall, I'm actually going to give that only I was going to give it a 1. I'd give a 1 to just the haunted woods part, but the other stuff, I'm giving a 2 out of 5. Overall, the experience, no. This is not one I would recommend. Not at all. I wouldn't recommend it myself.
Okay, so you see this right here? That's a 0. That's the lowest level of chainsaws that we can give. Well, I wouldn't give the Haunted Woods a 0, but it's pretty close. A couple of things saved it, but before I get to that, I'll say what was wrong with it. Like Paul said, the actors were not in character. They even asked us at one point, hey, are you with a group? And when we said, yes, we are, all of a sudden they put their masks on and got in character. And I said, well, it's too late now. And that seemed to be the way all the way through the trail. All the characters were very lackadaisical. When they'd come out, they'd go, rah, and then laugh. You could hear them talking to our guides behind us, talking to each other. They'd take their masks off. It really was not. I've seen better. In fact, at the Ike Turner house, which had younger children in it, they stayed in character more than they did here. Additionally, there was a very long line, and we got here when the trail was open. In fact, it wasn't even open yet. And it took us almost an hour to get through the line from the point that we got in.
Yeah, they opened at 7, but the line didn't actually start going through until like 7:20.
So we waited in line roughly about 40 minutes. It was not worth it. Although the trail is about 25 minutes long altogether, a good 15 minutes of it is not really worth anything. There's some nice scenery, some nice set details, and the trail is laid out very well. You don't get lost. You have guides, and it's actually well done in terms of set design. But the jokiness of the actors and the lack of enthusiasm really takes you out of the moment, and that's the whole point. But I will also mention the house. So Paul went into the house. The house was well done on the outside, and when you first walked in, it was a reception desk. That was very well done, atmospheric. They had old-time radio playing. It looked old and dingy and disused, and the props and sets were very well done. And the people did stay in character. So for that room, I'm actually going to give it a 1 chainsaw just for that room.
And that's the same reason for that little area that I give it 2 instead of 1. I haven't given a 0 to anything.
I will also say there were several areas in there where we got stuck and we had to find the right way out, and it was just basically a point where it wasn't fun anymore, where you just kind of stood there and waited until they opened the door for you. And I find that very disappointing. As a matter of fact, Paul said the guy was lying, and the guy insisted that he wasn't, and this was the right way, but it turns out he was lying, and Paul was correct all along. And Paul got out of the room first, which I applaud him for, because it was very annoying being in there. So all that to say that it's not worth it for the wait. I do think it's moderately priced, and I like the idea that you can give a canned good and save $2. So I'll give it 1 point, 1 chainsaw altogether, but I will add another chainsaw for nothing to do with the house. They had very good pizza and other concessions.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that was part of my reason for giving it 2 points as well, 2 chainsaws out of 5. The pizza was excellent. I can't believe it was so good.
And again, if you have $10 to spend, if there's no line and it's not too cold out, and you bring a canned good and get it for $8, maybe you might want to visit this haunt. But if not, there are other ones in this area, including home haunts that are free.
And I say skip it unless you want to spend a couple bucks on the pizza just for that, but skip the haunt.
Yeah, on second thought, I would say that too. Keep your $10, donate it to a good cause, go to a couple home hunts in the area and put your $10, spread your $10 amongst those, and you'll be better off.